Hey man, Chris, it's wonderful to meet you, sir. Thank you for taking a minute out today. I'm looking forward to getting into it.
Absolutely.
Before we get into your good work, I want to know this. 5 years ago, this pandemic changed so much. How did you make it through the pandemic of 2020, and how has it affected you today?
So I made it through the pandemic, just staying busy with work, taking care of my health, my family. Ironically, because I do voiceover work, that actually all Hollywood shut down and went over to voiceover work. So I just did it with that. Did a lot of meditation, read some really good books on businesses and everything. And for today, I would feel two things. One, people sure have gotten a lot more nastier. Uh, I quote Mike Tyson when he says social media had made you all really comfortable disrespecting one another without getting punched in the face for it, which it has, and a lot more, especially in the voiceover field, a lot more scams. Like people saying, like, "Oh, I could be a coach," and then I'm going to talk to them and say, "Well, what makes you a coach?" "Oh, I have only done this one field, and I booked one field," and I'm like, okay, not really like qualifies you as a coach. I can go on and on of that, but
Yeah,
that's kind
yeah.
of like things you have to really search through the bullshit, so to speak, to find yourself the true side and really network with the right people.
So let's get to the heart and soul of exactly what you do on a daily basis. It's very clear what you do on paper, but if I put you in front of a bunch of 12-year-olds at career day and the kid in the back of the room is like, hey, what do you do for a living? How do you answer them?
Well, I'm the voice of video games. Cartoons and everything. I provide voices for that. Also, when you call up a business and you hear a guy talking, well, it's probably my voice you hear.
So, what did you want to be when you were 12 years old? What was your dream?
My dream would definitely be in something with the cartoon field. I would say probably acting, definitely, because I just got the theater bug when I was a kid. And actually, when I was young, way back then, where Nickelodeon was actually in Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
There was actually a show they were trying to pitch. I think it was called like Adults versus Kids.
Yeah.
And I was actually one of the participants to be involved with that. And eventually we got chosen to do an episode of Wild and Crazy Kids. So I
Yeah.
got to do an episode of that. I think we got paid maybe like $50, which like to I think I was 8 years old at the time. Like, and you're okay, $50. I'm like, all right, that's awesome. And in the 90s, it went pretty far, but that was kind of the fun part. So I kind of caught it earlier on, and I knew like I wanted to do something with my voice, just be a big kid. And I guess I'd say not grow up was kind of when I was a kid, not grow up. And I'm happy to
Absolutely.
say I haven't.
That's awesome, dude. That I remember in college, I was in a poetry class, and there was a gal that was in there, and she was probably in her 60s or 70s, and they were going around the room. What do you want to be when you grow up? And I want an author and this and that. And she was like, I just don't want to grow up. I never want to grow up. So she had
Yeah,
it pegged from the word go.
yeah.
But
My favorite quote that I coined, I guess the word. Had this for about 15 years, and my family gets tired of me saying it. It's growing old is inevitable. Growing up, that's optional.
that's it. There you go. So
So
who were some of your favorite voices that you listened to growing up? Because I know I wanted to get into broadcasting, and it was Bob Costas, it was Vince Scully, it was Red Allen, it was all of those older like baseball voices. Who were the
right.
voices for you that made you want to do this?
That would have to be Frank Welker, Casey Kasem. I loved him whenever he did. I think it was the top 100
Yeah.
on the radio. It was just something unique. I remember when I went with my grandfather, he would play that on the radio. I'm like, that guy's a nice. And then I would kind of stop, like, Grandpa, is that Robin? Because he was the voice of, or like, I'm like, is that Robin? Like, is that Shaggy?
That's right.
And I'm like, yeah. And my uncle's like, oh yeah, that's Casey Kasem. He's the voice of like Shaggy and Robin on the cartoons. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I don't know he could be like on the radio and do cartoons like that. So he was definitely one. Steve Bloom is certainly another one of my like high voiceover talents there. Who else? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on her name. She did voiceover work until she was 90s. I'm gonna kick myself in the head for that. But she was like the grandma in all the Looney Tune cartoons.
Yeah.
You ever saw Mulan? She was the grandma on that. She was the tree in Pocahontas. I'm trying. She did voiceover work until she was, I think, 90 something. Like I and then like she passed away shortly after that, but
Wow,
yeah,
that's
she continued
amazing.
doing it.
It's going to come to you. Yeah, Casey Kasem still to this day, if I hear him, I stop in my tracks. I mean, when he would do those dedications and he'd really
Oh
lay
yeah.
on the sugar, oh, forget about it. It was wonderful. Um, so how did you break in? This is a field that I think a lot of people that are even contemplating some level of like getting their voice groomed or get it out there would love to do something like this. What was your flashpoint? How did this happen?
So, my dad, when he was young, I'm sorry, when I was young, my father always told me, Chris, I guarantee when you're older, you're going to talk to yourself in a padded room. And I just wanted to prove him right. So for me, it was back in 2014. A friend of mine introduced me to a website called Voice Acting Alliance. And I did a few like free projects on there, like kind of fan dubs and other things, just having fun. I did one a radio play, and a production company heard my voice and said, "Hey, Chris, you have a very interesting voice. Would you mind auditioning for my audiobook?" And I said, "Sure." I did it. I got the part, and when I got paid, I was kind of amazed at the paycheck I got, and I said, "You know what? If I'm gonna do this, I want to do it the right way." So I invested in coaching. I invested into making working with a coach and making not making my own demos, but the coach working with me create my demos. Then I took that and I took marketing courses. I took a few business courses, and I just kind of learned about getting everything in the right way, networking with the right professionals, and eventually I would get one agent and then another one. Then I got more work, and here I am today.
So, what was one of the trickiest early gigs that you had that made you grow the most? One of your more memorable evolutionary leaps.
So that would have to be an audiobook I did. I had to do, they had, I think, around 15 accents and 15 dialects, excuse me. It was Scottish, and it was in English and Irish, and it was actually like regional accents too. So I had to do a lot of research to try to capture it. And I actually had to, about like when I finished with the book, I actually talked with the author, and she said, you mispronounced this word. And I said, listen, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to have to like step down only because like I'm not confident in like my portrayal of the regional accents, because there's so many, and I appreciate you choosing me for it, but like I don't think I can provide you what you need. So I actually passed that project, and that actually taught me a good lesson on knowing when to accept the project and when to pass it. As much as I see like I want a job like, oh, pays, let's say $3,000. Oh, absolutely. Can you sound like Patrick Warburton? No. Can I sound like James Earl Jones? No, I can't, as much as I like to pretend. Or can I do this type of accent? My kryptonite is English accents, go figure. So, can I do that convincingly or authentically? And I'm like, no, I cannot. I have to pass. And they're like, are you sure we like your voice? I'm like, listen, I'm honored, but I cannot give you what you need. And
Yeah,
that teaches me, like, you got to know the limitations of your voice. Like, don't, because if you don't sound authentic, the audience is not going to believe you're authentic, and
yeah,
therefore that's going to lead to, either if you're selling a product for a company, doing a voiceover for a company, and they're selling a product, people not buying the product, people not buying the books, and eventually it's going to come back and hurt you because your voice is out there and it's portraying, that it's kind of like your business card, it's your work. And my father, when I was young, he's an electrician, I would always see him do his work, and he would actually clean up other people's work, and I say, Dad, why are you doing this? Like, why are you giving like such a crap about them? He goes, because it's my name.
yeah.
And I didn't understand it then, but now I do. It's like, it's because your name. Like, if I go out there and I do like in a half convincing English accent, I don't want, that's my name out there. I don't
Yeah.
want my work to reflect that. I want it to be as professional as possible.
So, who's been your hero, your inspirational force in life?
I'm gonna have to say my dad. He was oh he is, not was. I'm sorry. He is, just seeing him get up every single day, go out and work and come home. Uh and most importantly, be kind of mellow sometimes. Now he's an old stubborn Italian SOB, but just come home and relax. He's definitely one. And as cliche it is, I would have to say my kids, they're actually my heroes, because just being a dad is probably one of the best things I could ever do. And I have two more people. I hope she's not around to hear it, but it would have to be my wife. She's definitely one of my heroes because she is just someone who's always in my corner, who always believes me 24/7 and just kind of always pushes me. And even though she busts my chops a lot, she just wants me to do better.
Yeah.
So, I would say she's definitely one. And myself, I can see myself in a few years. I actually heard Matthew McConaughey say this at his awards acceptance when he got the Academy Award. He said, "Who's your hero?" It's myself in 5 years. And I kind of took that. And my theater arts teacher in high school said a very similar thing. She said, "Don't be the next, Dwayne Johnson. Don't be the next John Cena. Be the first you."
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And hearing like another famous celebrity say that, something similar to that, I'm like, okay, like, my heroes myself, because despite what obstacles come my way, I'm crushing them, and I'm succeeding. I'm doing better.
So if you can meet one person alive on the planet right now that you find fascinating, that might help you on your journey, or you just would like to see how they operate, who would that be?
Oh gosh, I would have to say Steve Bloom will be one. If I had the chance, I would have to say Mel Blanc.
Yeah.
Uh, love to see him. Chris Farley would be another because just to be a big guy and just put his stuff out there, be a funny person. And I think I'm trying to think if there's someone else in the whole world I could possibly. That's a good question, but it'll definitely be those three people.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm drawing a blank on his name. It'll come to me later, but definitely those three people kind of helped me a journey. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't believe I Shaquille O'Neal,
Yeah.
and the reason being because he is such a smart business person.
Yeah.
He's not just like a great NBA star. I think he's a doctor too. He's got his doctorate, and like he owns like 30 Papa Johns, like some random businesses. And you're like, that's weird. But like, I listened to a podcast he did a few years ago, and just talking about how he employed his family and made him like, oh, you're this position, this is your salary, and like how he's just so like such a smart entrepreneur. I would
Yeah.
love to sit down with him and pick his brain for a good hour and a half just to get as much business information as possible.
I was in a thrift store recently and came across some kind of like, oh, it was like some kind of egg cooking concoction, and it was his name on it. It was his thing. Like he's got his hands in everything, just
Yeah.
absolute everything. He's
Uh,
fascinating.
I just remembered one other person,
Yeah.
definitely Arnold Schwarzenegger, just because his like natural drive to always be better. I think the guy who played his trainer and oh, not trainer, he was in Predator, he was in Rocky, um,
Oh, the Apollo Creed dude.
Apollo Creed. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
The actor. He talked
Carl
about
Weathers.
how, yes,
Yeah.
he talked about how he was on the set of Predator, and he would see Arnold Schwarzenegger would take it took an entire floor and turn it into a gym, and he would get up and say, you know what, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna get up at 5 and I'm gonna run. So one day he got up at 5 and he saw Arnold. The next day he's running. Arnold got up earlier and he would run. Like Arnold would just constantly do stuff to improve himself.
Yeah.
Like he never took it like, oh, that person's doing something that's interesting. He's like, all right, you know what? How could I do that better? And just constantly improve himself. Like, I did this acting job wrong. What could I do better? Or I did this film. What could I do to improve on that?
Yeah.
Or I took over this business. How can I improve it? Just constantly improving himself. And that's just another person I would love to sit down and talk and just like, what's like, I want to know like your not secrets, but like what your drove you. Like, I want to know your natural hunger because it's such a rare thing to see nowadays because people, um, will sometimes possibly get easily offended or take constructive criticism as hurtful, and it's
Yeah.
just construct. I mean, I'm fortunate enough that I grew up in a military family, and my father's a smart ass electrician from Jersey. That every feedback he gets, I do get a little hurt, but then I stop and think, all right, is it doing it to hurt me or is it doing it to make me better?
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you this: what gets you up every day, other than your family and your kids? What is it professionally that makes you get up and to do your job to the best of your ability every day?
Money. No, it's just being an inspiration for somebody, to get and to be the voice of video games, or being the voice of training video, just something using to inspire someone, to kind of getting the next project to, as I said, go back on that inspiration. When I did one video game, I heard someone say, you actually inspired me to get like voice acting lessons. That's pretty cool. And now he's a big shot now. Um, but just like kind of being the reason, being that inspiration, or what I like to say, being the reason someone cries, like in a video game, being that, doing that emotional strain, or in a movie, what have you, just being that, making that emotional connection with someone. To go back, I'd also making the connections, and that kind of drives me to be like, all right, doesn't matter if I'm doing a training video for a company, or if I'm just doing an on hold messaging for another local business talking about bugs, or if I'm being like a starship pirate, ninja, whatever, on a video game. Like, I always give it 100%, and it's always, another reason is another way to always improve on myself. It's being that like inspiration to someone, being that emotional connection.
So, what's the dream gig? Movie, TV show, Manifest Destiny right now. Let's put it out there. What is your dream gig?
Love to get into the Marvel universe,
Yeah.
being like either like a loop group. I kick myself for this. I had an opportunity to go out and be in a loop group for a few movies out in LA. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it because I had my kids were young at the time. So I was a single father then. So it was just difficult. I'm like, I can't make it.
Yep.
So, but when it doesn't matter, like a door shuts, another one opens. There's been other opportunities. So I would love to get involved in the Marvel universe, either Loop Group, or I don't think it's around anymore. I would say Cartoon Network, but I don't think Cartoon Network's around
I don't
anymore.
think it is either. Yeah.
Some type of big animation project. I did have an opportunity to be in like a big project that I was really proud of, a big video game, but unfortunately they recast everyone.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, and I wish I could talk about it, but I can't.
Well, let's talk about something that you are proud of everything that you've achieved and accomplished and evolved to. What are you the proudest of?
Being a dad,
Yeah, I
I
dig it.
I would have, though, because my kids are 16, 17, and 9 months. And although my teenagers, give me headaches every single day, it's still kind of cool, like seeing them go out and succeed in the world. Like both of my teenagers, that were both of them working two jobs right now. They're saving to buy a car. Just kind of seeing like their inspiration in their eyes to have a goal for something. And my youngest, just seeing her so happy every single time I walk in the room, seeing her light up. That's pretty cool. So it would definitely be a dad. Second to that is being an inspiration to someone. There were a few students I had, because I also coach as well, who just want to break into the industry, and I'm giving them the correct advice, because ever since the pandemic, there's been a lot of scams, as I mentioned before. But being like an inspiration, saying like, listen, your class kind of helped me out a little bit, or just talking to you really inspired me. I'm now doing this instead of doing this. Just seeing them approach things the right way, I'm like, oh, that's cool, good for you.
Yeah.
And also mentioned this, it was actually my brother's best friend, who I know my whole life, is like a brother to me. He was, I believe, an X-ray technician, and he actually quit that job to become a barber. And he's amazing at it. Is like a barber to the celebrities and everything. And he said, you kind of inspired me, because when I saw you like quit your job and do voice acting, it kind of made me quit my job and pursue being a barber. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like,
That is cool. That is
it's
very
not
cool.
it's not like an entertainment field. It's something completely different. Just kind of see me like, I mean, I did it the wrong way. You shouldn't quit your job and then pursue voiceover full time. Looking back, it was a horrible idea, but a good idea, I
It worked
guess.
out.
It
Yeah.
worked out, yeah.
So let me ask you this. Everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, fans, colleagues, everyone that knows you, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Honest. I would say, a smart aleck Italian from the Jersey Shore who, is is very truthful, doesn't, cares about feelings, but, will tailor things, to not hurt your feelings. It's going to be 100% honest and loyal. I mean, I don't beat around the bush. I'm very straightforward, 100% honest, and yeah, that's pretty much who I am.
So if anyone wants to reach out, they want to view your work, questions, any of the good business, where do they go?
Just go to my website, which is dattolivoiceovers.com. Spelled Dattoli, voiceovers.com. It has all my contact information there. You can see the samples of my work and my demos, and yeah.
Right on. Perfect. Chris, this has been great, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your
Absolutely,
story.
Joe.
Best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Looking to get new clients to your business through cold calling or email marketing? At Agency Y, they envision a world in which small and big companies have equal chances to win new customers in the market. Their purpose is to bring parity and reduce the gap between large and small firms with the help of their cold calling and cold email marketing services. Use the code Joe Dimino 10 at www.agencyyyy.org/coldcallingjoe.php or www.agencyyyy.org/emailmarketingjoe.php to get 10% off your first order. This is Joe Dimino of Neon Jazz and Famous Interviews, and I stand behind Agency Y to meet your business dreams.